You're listening to the Ford Rams Legend Community Show, brought to you by the Southern California Association of Ford Dealers and is presented by the Chumash Casino and Resort. Here are your hosts, Greg Bell and Pep Fernandez.
We are going to start strong and we are going to finish strong. Kind of like the Rams. Or not. We're going to talk about it here on the Ford Legends Community Show. I'm Pep Fernandez.
Hey, guys, and I'm Greg Bell. And like usual, we're proud to be a part of the Ram family. And again, of course, proud to be a part of the Ford family. Ford has a great lineup of trucks, cars, SUVs this year. Trust me, I know because I drive a Ford Fusion myself. This high-tech hybrid saves me money and saves me time at the pump. Take my word, Pep. Get out there and see one of these Ford dealers. They're all over Southern California. Of course, they're the Southern California Ford dealers. And, of course, we're proud to have them as sponsors of the Ford Legend Community Show.
Greg, Ford always gets you to where you need to go. They never leave you stranded. They always come through. Unlike that Rams offense. And what's so bizarre, let's talk about this Rams loss from the previous week against Miami. 14-10 was that final score. But what I'm scratching my head about is the defense has been so great for the Rams. They were great against the Dolphins for 3.5 quarters, and it was the defense that actually let this one slip away at the end.
Well, you know, you can put a lot of onus on the defense. At the same time, you know, the offense has got to score points, and that's something we've all said the entire year. And at the same time, they've got to have good ball control. I mean, I'm not sure what fell apart. But I do know one thing. This defense is a very good defense. It's a young, developing defense. My hat goes off to this defense. But it's just like we talked about just a week ago, Pep, when we had Rosie on. We talked about the fact that Notre Dame, Los Angeles Rams, we only get about 3.5 quarters out of them. And that's the part that is most frustrating for anybody who's played this game is why can't you take it all the way to the end?
We'll definitely talk more about quarterback Jared Goff getting his first NFL start in that game. Listen, the weather elements obviously played a factor in that game, but 17-31, 134 yards through the air. Not great, not ugly. I mean, what did you think of it?
Well, I think, you know, they did everything to make his game safe. I mean, look how many times Todd Gurley carried the ball. I mean, they did everything to keep him from really doing the one thing we didn't want him to do was demoralize himself, because when the guy throws an interception and the crowd gets behind that interception, it kind of takes the wind out of his sail. Thank goodness he didn't throw one interception. He's got to be a little bit more accurate. But in terms of just running the offense, I think they did a great job with him to bring him in slowly. The question is how much of that offense is sitting in the playbook and not in the game?
Same story. New quarterback with same story. He's trying to score points, get enough points to pull out a win. Obviously, it wasn't enough 14-10 against Miami. We'll talk more about Jared Goff. We'll talk about their next game against the New Orleans Saints. Kenny Britt quietly having a great year, and Todd Gurley trying to get him going. I saw some flashes on Sunday against Miami.
And that's really what they need right now. We need him to flash that Gurley of his rookie year, that Gurley that came out of the University of Georgia. The thing that I told you earlier, and I tell our listeners, when I would play with the Rams, the one thing that John Robinson always told me is that I can block 9. And 2 of them they're yours. You got to make a miss. And, last year, I'm telling you, I went out and saw probably 3 games in St. Louis. Todd made people miss. And that's something I'm not seeing from him right now. He's stumbling in the lines and he's not getting, like Rosie said, he's running sideways. But he's got to make 1 to 2 people miss, and that's on him. And right now he's not doing it. He does have the capability to make them do it, though.
So we got a lot more Rams coming your way. Former Rams tight end Pat Carter will join us. We'll also talk with former Bears receiver Wendell Davis. When we come back, we'll also talk Notre Dame with broadcaster Allen Pinkett. We got to talk about the Irish.
You know what? This is going to be a conversation about the future. Let's just leave it at that.
We'll look ahead.
A conversation about the future.
Big one with the USC rivalry game, but we'll also look ahead and see what's around the corner for Notre Dame with Allen Pinkett. That's when we come back here on the Ford Legends Community Show.
Amazing Black Friday offers are here during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Black Friday bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. Not available on Mustang, Shelby, GT350, F-150 Raptor, Focus RS, Ford GT. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 11/30/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.
There's a new game in town. The all-new Shumash Casino Resort. Now bigger, bolder, and more luxurious than ever. Our grand expansion features a dramatic new 12-story hotel tower, spectacular rooftop pool, giant gaming floor, and more. Amazing things are happening at Shumash Casino Resort in the Santa Barbara wine country. The new game in town. Visit shumashcasino.com.
Hey Pep, have you heard of Siebens Healthcare Consultants? Siebens has been rethinking healthcare and servicing the community of Southern California for over 35 years, specializing in medical insurance, wellness, workers' compensation, and the need of an aging workforce. Siebens services here in Southern California are unmatched. For more information or to speak with someone about savings available to your corporation or business, call 877-766-5464. Again, that's 877-766-5464 and ask to speak with Kimberly.
Amazing Black Friday offers are here during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Black Friday bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. Not available on Mustang, Shelby, GT350, F-150 Raptor, Focus RS, Ford GT. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 11/30/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.
Well, welcome back to the Ford Legends Community Show, sponsored here by the Chumash Casino Resort and Pep. They're bigger, they're bolder, more entertaining than ever. When are you going to get in that car and drive on up to the Santa Barbara wine country and check out the Chumash Casino Resort, Pep, the new game in town?
Here's the deal, Greg. So Allen Pinkett will be on the West Coast, right? Notre Dame's at USC. You come pick me up in the Ford. We go up to Chumash and have a good time. Deal?
What do you think, Pink? Is that what we do? Is that what we do?
The only thing I know how to do is play blackjack, and poorly because I can't count the cards.
Oh, Pink, wait a minute. You're from Virginia, man. You're from Virginia. I know they know how to play craps. You don't know how to play craps, man?
I don't. I didn't hang out with enough crap players, but I hung out with one dude who won me like $130, and I still don't know what he did.
Well, Pink, man, you know, we're at the end of the road here. Of course, we got the big game with USC. Let's talk about the Irish, and let's go back a week and look at what happened on our home, the Parent Day. Everything was going well. Of course, it turned to 30 degrees, and we got snow in the forecast. But what happened to this Irish team going into that fourth quarter?
Well, I guess I would characterize it as a game of two halves. In the first half, they didn't look like a 4-6 team. They looked like a well-oiled machine, got up by 17 points. In the second half, they did look like a 4-6 team. But I think I should probably be giving more credit to Virginia Tech than wondering what was going on with Notre Dame, because Bud Foster is an acclaimed defensive coordinator, and he found a way to shut our offense down. And I think our defense just ended up being on the field so long they got worn out. Virginia Tech ran the ball 47 times.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself is something that's going to wear a defense out. The kids played hard. The one thing I can say about this particular football team is usually you get a losing season, it splinters the locker room. But these guys hung together. Can't say enough about the senior leadership that they have. Those guys, I think, have given a great example of not quitting and continuing to fight. But they've been on the wrong side of luck. They've been on the wrong side of questionable calls. I'm sitting up there in the booth, and I see the quarterback get targeted, and there's not even a review. So that's just sort of your signal. And look, Greg, you can go all the way back to the first game of the year against Texas when Torrey Hunter got hit in the head and they didn't call targeting and didn't review that either. You know, how that could have possibly changed the season. And so it's just been, a regurgitation of the same thing happening. But I think that they're going to be okay because they'll remember all this, and they're young, and they will learn how to finish with this. They'll know what the taste of defeat feels like, so they can get back to their winning ways.
Okay.
So, Allen, obviously no bowl game, but you got USC, and that's a huge one for the Irish. Is that their bowl game? Can that be the battle cry in this final week? This is your bowl game?
It has to be. In fact, I always view bowl games as starting the next season. And so I hope that the perspective that the kids have this week is, okay, that season we just had is over with. Let's start projecting towards the future. And so I almost view this USC game as the start of next year. That way you can keep a positive outlook. You can be fresh. You are basically in a bowl game setting, being in the LA Coliseum, and hopefully y'all had a lot of rain there last week, huh?
Still, yeah.
It's still raining, just one day.
Sunny. So there's still a lot to play for, and let's face it, USC has become USC again, and so if Notre Dame could muster up a good enough effort and beat them, that would indeed be a statement win and a great way to roll into next year.
Well, Pink, you're talking about next year, and I guess the question probably, let's start with probably the most obvious question. When you start talking about the Fighting Irish looking at next year, the question says, to me, is who's going to be at the helm? Is it going to be Deshaun Kaiser, or are we going to start looking at the freshman who was redshirted this past year?
Yeah, I think that we have to put that on hold a little bit. Deshaun Kaiser is going to go through his evaluation, I guess, at some point in January. It's going to be that interim period between December and sometime in January when the combine is, or maybe it is January. If he gets evaluated as a first-round pick, in my mind, you have to go. Because that window may not be open for you the following year. Ask Matt Barkley about that.
Right.
And I also say that you don't leave early to go late. There is one guy that proved me wrong on that. That was Justin Tuck. And I wanted him to stay in school, and he decided to came out as a third rounder, but he ended up being a very rich man. So
he went into the Hall of Fame last weekend for New York.
Yes. So, that's the only one I can think of that's proved me wrong. But it's that situation, you got to strike when the iron's hot. And if it's hot for Kaiser right now, how do you not go?
And, Allen, do you think the iron is still hot? I mean, obviously the Irish have, struggled here this season, but Kaiser started the season as, there was Heisman talk and top overall pick in the NFL draft, all that stuff. But, I feel like, at least from my humble opinion, I think he's still right up there. I think he's one of the first two quarterbacks off the board. I mean, how do you kind of assess where Deshaun Kaiser is right now in terms of the upcoming NFL draft next season?
Well, you can't judge the wins and losses, unfortunately. And you have to judge, does he go through his progressions? Does he throw guys open? Does he have good leadership qualities? Does he navigate the pocket well? And you can study the tape to see all that. The wins and losses become irrelevant.
Right.
And so I think everything really just hinges on this evaluation that, Coach Kelly lets him go through. And hopefully this evaluation, they will be honest with him. He'll be honest with himself. And if, he's got that confidence to go to the next level and they think that he's ready, then you only got so many snaps in your body, so you might as well get paid.
Well, talk to us about Brandon Wimbush. He's actually a redshirt sophomore this year. He's a sophomore, but still a redshirt freshman. I've heard a lot of talk about him as well as Book as well. Who is the next man in line? That's the thing, because Malik is gone. So when we start talking about the future of this Notre Dame Fighting Irish, we got to look at the quarterback and we got to say, well, where might the future be? And which one of those kids do you see the future in?
I am so excited to see a Brandon Wimbush run football team. He has shown glimpses. His freshman year, I think his first carry was for like 57 yards. His first pass, it should have been a catch by Will Fuller, but he definitely showed the arm strength and being able to lead the fastest guy that came out of the draft this past year. So I am very, very excited. I think Wimbush is the most athletic of all three quarterbacks presently. And, I hope that being able to watch from the sidelines, he's been able to store a lot of stuff up in that brain so that when he comes out, he can have, full confidence and just freewheel it out there. So I'm very excited about a Brandon Wimbush run team. And you know who? Don Crickey, my partner, loves him more. I mean, he's been watching this guy since he was in high school and bragging on him. So, next year may be the year for Brandon Wimbush.
Well, Allen, we always appreciate the time, and we're looking forward to hearing your call against USC. Big rivalry game.
Oh, huge rivalry. Always love to play this game, but USC is USC again. Let's see if the Irish can come out there with some fight in them.
All right, Pink.
We appreciate the time, Allen.
All right, go Irish.
All right, Notre Dame, USC, final game of the season for the Irish. When we come back, we'll talk Rams with a Rams legend, former tight end Pat Carter. That's coming up on the Ford Legends Community Show.
Amazing Black Friday offers are here during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Black Friday bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. Not available on Mustang, Shelby, GT350, F-150 Raptor, Focus RS, Ford GT. Taking retail delivery from dealer stock by 11/30/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.
There's a new game in town. The all-new Shumash Casino Resort. Now bigger, bolder, and more luxurious than ever. Our grand expansion features a dramatic new 12-story hotel tower, spectacular rooftop pool, giant gaming floor, and more. Amazing things are happening at Shumash Casino Resort in the Santa Barbara wine country. The new game in town. Visit ShumashCasino.com.
Hey Pep, have you heard of Siebens Healthcare Consultants? Siebens has been rethinking healthcare and servicing the community of Southern California for over 35 years, specializing in medical insurance, wellness, workers' compensation, and the need of an aging workforce. Siebens services here in Southern California are unmatched. For more information or to speak with someone about savings available to your corporation or business, call 877-766-5464. Again, that's 877-766-5464 and ask to speak with Kimberly.
And we are back here on the Ford Legends Community Show, talking Rams, NFL, just talking a little Notre Dame as well. I'm Pep Fernandez.
And I'm Greg Bell. Guys, you got to be a legend. To be one, you have to be in the community, and you've got to be a part of that community for a while. Let me tell you, the Southern California Ford dealers are legends in the Orange Southern California community. I remember back in my playing days, and I'm proud to say they're sponsors of the show today. Ford is the leader in automotive technology, and I'm not joking with you guys. I drive a Ford Fusion Energy myself. Stop by and check out some of these legends in the Southern California community. The Ford Legends Community Show, sponsored by Ford.
Well, we're talking legends. This is our legends segment. We got former Rams tight end Pat Carter joining us here on the show now. And Greg, we kind of touched on it. Kenny Britt quietly having a career year, even though we've talked about the Rams and their struggles moving the football and scoring points. But, Pat, what do you think of the Rams offense at this point, and how do you kind of see the fix maybe to it?
Well, I watched some of the game yesterday. They got some pieces there. I thought it was kind of tough yesterday was that they didn't really fully open up the offense to me. I thought it did a lot of dinking and dunking, quick slants and stuff like that, which I thought, made Britt quite successful yesterday.
Well, looking at this offense, Pat, of course, we've seen drops by a lot of the players here, and that's one of the things I've talked about. I don't know how much you've had an opportunity. You're making home now in Florida. We'll talk about that as well, see some of the things that you're doing. But when you think of this Rams offense, because you play for not only the Los Angeles Rams, from what I know, you also play for the St. Louis Rams. So when you bring a team,
I'm sorry about that. Yes,
I say, but when you bring a team to LA, you can kind of talk about the gravity and the difference in the two cities.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, St. Louis was a great city, but LA is a whole nother animal, and I love LA. I spent the majority of my career there, and so my affinity is towards LA.
We're talking with Pat Carter here in the Ford Legends Community Show. And, Pat, you kind of touched on it, the fact that it felt like the Rams were maybe playing it safe with Jared Goff in there, or is that just kind of their offense, you think, that not going with that deep ball and trying to open things up?
Yeah, I wish I would have liked to have seen them, open things up. Got some really guys that are qualified to go down and make plays down the field. Austin is that type of player. I would have liked to see him with the ball in his hands more as well.
Well, Pat, let me ask this question. When you were at the St. Louis Rams, of course, you were with the Rams, of course, when I left, when Jeter left with a lot of guys. When we see this team coming back now, is it the same? I don't know if I'm asking it the right. When the team left L.A., what was the feeling of the players when you left L.A. to go to St. Louis?
Well, I left it. Well, technically, I was gone the '94 season, which was actually the last season. I was in Houston, but I was there up until '93, so I wasn't actually there the '94 season. But I got cut in Houston, and I met them in St. Louis. Is kind of what happened.
Okay.
We're talking with Pat Carter here on the show, and Pat, we're talking about the fact that you did play in LA and you did play in St. Louis. No knock on St. Louis here. We love Los Angeles because we're here in Southern California right now. But did you feel like there was a buzz around the franchise being back in Southern California? It felt like they were coming back home. It felt like there was a homecoming with the Rams. Obviously, people wish they were playing a little bit better right now, kind of like the old St. Louis Rams. But people are excited to be back here. Were you excited when you heard the news that they were coming back to Southern California?
Oh, definitely. I was extremely excited. No offense to St. Louis, but the Rams belong in Southern California. That's what they're known for. So I'm just happy to see that they're back there. But they also have to know that California is a place you can go skiing and surfing in the same weekend, and you better be winning if you want some butts in that seat.
Is there not a lot of surfing in St. Louis?
They make
Greg,
those.
You got an out-of-work comedian with.
They got those motorized surfboards.
Jeez.
Hey, Pat, you weren't on. Of course, you didn't hear our earlier segment. We talked a little college football as well, and definitely got to talk about you. Now, am I right? Did I see something on Facebook that said you went into the Florida State Hall of Fame?
Yeah, in 2015. Better late than never, but I'm glad they recognized me. That was pretty awesome.
Well, let's talk about Florida State now, because we've been on the phone for about 20 minutes. We talked about my alma mater. Florida State isn't the Florida State that is kind of like Notre Dame, not as bad as Notre Dame, but y'all dropped down to 8-3, and that's uncommon for a Florida State Seminole team.
I'll be honest with you. We had some struggles on defense, but please don't compare us to Notre Dame. That's no comparison.
He makes a good point, Greg.
Oh man,
we've had some struggles, but we had some injuries. Especially a key injury was our big defensive back, James. With him out, created a big void in from our standpoint of our secondary, and just really had never gelled since he left, and that's been part of our struggle.
Well, when Florida State's also in the ACC, and one of the things that I've heard over the past, I guess, month is really trying to categorize what the ACC. What is it? A powerhouse conference? It's all the different mergers. What is your view of the ACC when you're comparing it? I told somebody driving in today, I don't see the Big Ten having that much power, and the SEC being that weak, since only person they talk about in the SEC is of course Alabama. What do you see in terms of the ACC? Because the only team they're talking about is Clemson.
Well, I mean, that's technically the only team that should be, as far as when you're talking the bowl committee, the playoff committee. That's the only team that's deserving of that talk in that conference, especially with Louisville losing now, So really, from a standpoint of the entire ACC, I'm happy with what we have, but right now Clemson is the king of the ACC right now.
I got to say, maybe across the board, the ACC, at least in my opinion, maybe not as strong as the SEC, but at least competitiveness. There's a lot of good football in the ACC right now. You brought up Louisville, Clemson, of course, Florida State. I mean, Pat, that's a pretty good conference, right, for football. I think of it as a basketball conference, but it's kind of changing my my opinion on it. I feel like it's a football conference.
Well, especially, comparing it to, if you want to compare it to the SEC, name me someone aside from Alabama.
Right.
Maybe Florida.
Yeah, it's top-heavy.
Florida.
Yeah, I don't know if I can name any.
Yeah, well, that's why I think I'll say it this way. The ACC is on the rise. I love what the ACC is. I love all the teams that's coming together, and I think this won't. We'll be here for a while. We'll be in this hunt for a while. Well,
Pat, what are you doing nowadays? That's one of the things we have this show here, the Ford Legends Community Show, to talk to the guys, to find out what they're doing nowadays. And it ranges from, we had one that set up on the mountaintop, Dennis Hara. You don't remember Dennis. Dennis didn't play when you were here, but we've had a few of the guys on just to see what the guys are doing nowadays. What are you doing?
Officially, I'm retired, but I've been, in my community, mentoring some kids and just involved in my church activities and just some other activities in the community here. That's all. Just trying to leave a better place once I'm gone.
Hey, Pat, are you like Greg? Because Greg over here is on this bucket list kick. He has all this stuff on his bucket list. He wants to jump out of planes and do all this crazy stuff. Are you trying to just enjoy life now that football's in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, well, the difference in Greg and I is probably our bodies. My body took a big beating in there, playing inside the trenches there, and I'm feeling it in this day and age. So none of those extravagant ideas will be coming from me. You don't have to worry about that.
Say, Greg, you could invite him to go skydiving or whatever you're going to do next.
I don't know what I'm
zip lining.
I got to figure out what it is. I've already did zip lining. What are you talking about? I did that.
That's done. It's checked.
That's done. That's checked off, man. But hey, Pat, I tell you what, man, we appreciate you coming on today. Of course, like I tell all the guys, it's great to be back in touch with everybody now that the Rams are back home. We look forward to seeing you get out here to Southern California.
And I'll definitely be out there, and I appreciate you guys for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that's Pat Carter, former Rams tight end. When we come back, Greg, we'll talk more NFL. We got former Bears receiver Wendell Davis coming on the show.
Yeah, he used to coach for the San Francisco 49ers.
When you said Mike Singletary was up there in San Francisco, right? Maybe we'll talk a little 49ers as well.
Yeah, we got to talk about his LSU Tigers as well.
Yeah.
Losing to Florida.
In fact, in the picture I pulled up of Wendell Davis, if you're watching us live on YouTube, is the one he's catching a ball over the top of Leroy Irvin. And you're... you had the same exact.
Don't tell Leroy that.
You had the same reaction. You were laughing. Anyways, we'll talk with Wendell Davis, former Bears receiver, when we come back here on the Ford Legends Community Show.
Amazing Black Friday offers are here during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Black Friday bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. Not available on Mustang, Shelby, GT350, F-150 Raptor, Focus RS, Ford GT. Taking retail delivery from dealer stock by 11/30/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.
There's a new game in town. The all-new Shumash Casino Resort. Now bigger, bolder, and more luxurious than ever. Our grand expansion features a dramatic new 12-story hotel tower, spectacular rooftop pool, giant gaming floor, and more. Amazing things are happening at Shumash Casino Resort in the Santa Barbara wine country. The new game in town. Visit ShumashCasino.com.
If your corporation or business has been looking for a better medical insurance, wellness, or workers' compensation plan, you should be calling the consultants at Siebens Healthcare. They have been specializing in healthcare for over 35 years right here in Southern California. When you call 877-766-5464, you'll be entered into a raffle for a free fitness device. So be sure to call Siebens Healthcare Consultants at 877-766-5464 and ask to speak with Kimberly. Siebens, rethinking health, impacting your future healthcare needs.
And welcome back. It's the Ford Legends Community Show. I'm Pep Fernandez.
And I'm Greg Bell. And Pep, like always, we're sponsored by the Chumash Casino Resort. Now bigger, bolder, and more entertaining than ever. Come experience the grand expansion of the Chumash Casino Resort, the new game in town.
It's pretty awesome to have Pat Carter on the show. We've had a good show so far, and it gets even better right now as we bring in former Bears receiver Wendell Davis onto the Ford Legends Community Show here. And Wendell, I just heard you talking to Greg. You're on a shuttle? You're going to the airport? Or I mean, what's cracking with you? Where are you up? What are you up to?
Yes, I am on a shuttle, man, in L.A. Actually winding down a little family vacation. And I'm on the shuttle on the way to the airport.
You can tell, hey,
Chicago.
You can tell them what we've been doing all weekend, man. Enjoying the kids, man.
Can't do that, man. Oh yeah, we enjoying the kids, but I can't tell them all the secrets.
No. You don't have to tell them secret. But you know what? It's great. You know, one of the things that I tried to tell a lot of people, and we try and explain here on the Ford Legends Community Show, there's a camaraderie amongst players, man. That I just met you a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And, we've grown to be good compadres. And, it's great when you get a chance to come into the city. And, we got to jump on the subject of course, the Chicago Bears, man. The Bears are actually kind of playing like the Rams right about now.
Do we have to talk about that?
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Now, when are they going to get rid of Cutler?
Greg gets right to it.
Everybody's calling for his head, man. He's had an interesting career with the Bears. It hasn't been that great, to be honest with you. And nobody can put their finger on it. But all in all, the guy has great talent. I just think he's probably with the wrong team at this point. But the Bears made those decisions. They have to live with it. Right now we're just trying to get through the season, trying to finish up.
Yeah, Chicago's 2-8, and man, they've really ridden this out with Jay Cutler. I mean, for better or for worse, I mean, they're just going with him.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you make decisions and money's involved, and I'm talking about a whole lot of money, you have to ride with that decision. And it's no fault of Jay Cutler. You know, I like to see all players get all they can get, but you know, it just didn't work out for him.
Well, Wendell, I mean, when you look at this Bears team and you kind of compare some of the things that you've seen, why do you think that – I understand the money side of it, but you let a guy like Matt Forte go to New York. You let your wide receiver, who was Jay Cutler's best friend, it sounds like, you let him leave as well. What do you think that front office is thinking? Or, you know, you've gone through 2 changes now in what, 3 years at head coach.
3 years, yeah.
And so –
you know, I think that – go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go right ahead.
Well, I think they're still trying to find the right mix, and you know, Greg, as well as I do. Sometimes it does take time. You know, Fox had some great teams, and when he was with the Panthers, and you know, with the Broncos. But you know, it takes a mixture of good front office knowledge and the team gelling. You know, there's got to be a great team chemistry as well. And I'm not sure if the Bears had that since Lovie Smith left. To tell you.
Hey, Wendell, tell Tony I said to shut up. I can hear him in the background.
Yeah, he looked at me funny, man.
Well, Wendell, when you look at the Bears division, there's some really good teams, but there's like a log jam. Like no one's really separating with the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. I mean, you feel like, man, if the Bears could just put it together, it could be right there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's not over till it's over, and normally at this point in the season, you have the Packers or Minnesota. Somebody's out front leading the way, but this year it's not that way. Everybody's trying to find their own way late in the second half of the season. And typically you have those teams that stand out, especially the Packers. I am very surprised at where they are right now.
Well, let's talk about something that's probably a little closer to your heart, and of course that'll be the Louisiana State Tigers.
Oh man!
Oh yeah, you know I'm going to ask you. I can't look here. Notre Dame is what? What are we now? 4-7.
Yeah.
You are 6-4. You know, Ed Ogeron, who was of course the interim head coach here at USC, is now the interim coach at LSU. What do you think is going on with your program down there in Louisiana?
Well, we've lost our way, man. I think we're trying to find an identity right now. Everybody knows LSU for their great defense, right? And true enough, defenses win your championship. I know that. But at some point, we have to grab an identity as an offensive team as well. You know, and I think we've been struggling with that. You know, even with Les Miles being there, I mean, we struggle with that. So I like Ed. Ed's a hometown guy, and I'm actually pulling for him. But I really would like to see us go out and do a search and see what's out there. I think we have this opportunity to do it. We still have enough great recruits to really still have not a good team, but a great team. But we still need to just expand our search, I think. And you know, and at the end of the day, if Ed ends up as the guy, I think that'd be great. But I think we need to give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, Wendell, it wasn't that long ago that LSU was the program. It wasn't Alabama in the SEC. It was LSU getting all the big-time recruits, you know, national titles, in the national title mix. I mean, so it's not like they're that far off because they were there not too long ago.
Yeah, they're still there. They still got a great nucleus there, you know. I think one thing Les did do, he still continues to have great recruiting seasons. I mean, every year. I mean, they're in the top 5. And, so I think the nucleus is there. I just think maybe some of the coaching philosophy probably needs to change. And like I say, on defense, it's been great, but offensively, we just we just struggle, and we just have to find something new. And I hopefully we can do that. And who knows? If Ed's the guy, Ed might bring the right person in, or it may just change things. Who knows?
Well, Wendell, before you came on, I was joking and telling them how, we were up in San Luis Obispo, of course. I got to let you throw a shout-out to your son, of course. He's playing in San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly.
That's a great football program.
Yep. Great, and they got a big win. They're going into the playoffs next week. Now, who are they playing next week?
They are playing University of San Diego.
And they've already beat them this year.
Yeah,
so,
they beat them once this year.
Well, if we can get them by North Dakota State, maybe we can all meet back up in Pismo Beach again and have the ladies make the meal for us, so I can get heavy. I'll put on about 2 pounds, man.
Greg, that's the best thing about football, man. Is getting together with family and friends, man.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what we did. We had a great time. My son is really enjoying himself right now. He's in that spot where he feels he's a redshirt sophomore. He's in that spot where he's playing sparingly, and he's one of those guys that really wants to play.
Right.
So it gets frustrating at times, but I think in the end, going to the playoffs and that type of thing really makes it all worth his while. So yeah, I'm excited for that program. I'm excited for my son. And like you said, if we can get past USD and North Dakota, which would be
a major win,
a major win for them. Yeah, a major win for them. That'd be great, man.
It would be.
Well, Wendell, we appreciate the time and go Mustangs, right?
Yeah, go Mustangs. That's right.
All right, Wendell, we will talk soon, man. I appreciate you stopping by.
I appreciate you guys. All right, take care. Have a great one.
All right.
Cal Poly, man. That's a good football program up there.
Great program up there, and great school.
Yeah, Division I. They get some good kids up there.
Well, it's Division 1, 2A.
1, 2A, yeah. So it's still D1.
It's D1,
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, the education is the key. Like I tell all the kids who come through AFL, it's not just the being able to play. It's actually getting something at the end of the rainbow.
All right, when we come back, our Rams report. We'll talk Rams. Talk a lot of offense. We'll talk about, the Jared Goff era is underway.
It is.
It looks like they've left Case Keenum at the station, and they're not turning around. They're not looking back. It's all forward now with Jared Goff. We'll kind of reassess his debut and talk about the Rams going forward here on the Ford Legends Community Show.
Amazing Black Friday offers are here during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Black Friday bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. Not available on Mustang, Shelby, GT350, F-150 Raptor, Focus RS, Ford GT. Taking retail delivery from dealer stock by 11/30/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.
There's a new game in town. The all-new Shumash Casino Resort. Now bigger, bolder, and more luxurious than ever. Our grand expansion features a dramatic new 12-story hotel tower, spectacular rooftop pool, giant gaming floor, and more. Amazing things are happening at Shumash Casino Resort in the Santa Barbara wine country. The new game in town. Visit ShumashCasino.com.
Hey Pep, have you heard of Siebens Healthcare Consultants? Siebens has been rethinking healthcare and servicing the community of Southern California for over 35 years, specializing in medical insurance, wellness, workers' compensation, and the need of an aging workforce. Siebens services here in Southern California are unmatched. For more information or to speak with someone about savings available to your corporation or business, call 877-766-5464. Again, that's 877-766-5464 and ask to speak with Kimberly.
Welcome back. It's the Ford Legends Community Show as we break down the NFL, the LA Rams, Notre Dame football with some of the biggest legends in the game. I'm Pep Fernandez.
And guys, this is Greg Bell, and I'm proud to be a part of the Ford family. Ford has a great lineup of cars, trucks, and SUVs this year. Trust me, I know, because I drive that Ford Energy Fusion. And Pep, get on by and see one of these legendary Ford dealers here and get some of that legendary service.
Did you drive your Ford to go hang out with Wendell Davis this weekend?
No, I did not.
Well, I wanted to hear about all your secrets. What was going on this weekend?
I got to drive up there. No. When I think about it, no, I did drive up there. I drove up there by myself. I had to go back and kind of make a little intermediate stop along the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know how that is.
But you said you couldn't share your secrets. I was hoping you'd give us a little something here.
You know what?
Hanging out with all these NFL guys.
You know what? It's fun every year. We do that for Thanksgiving because his son will be playing next week, so he can't go home. And then his son went with the school with about 4 other guys. Of course, Mike Singletary's son went to Cal Poly as well. And so, I've had a joy of being able to pop up there. We've got a lot of kids from the AFL Foundation that have gone up there to enjoy Cal Poly. It's just a great program for the kids. And, they put out, Chris Gokon, kid that came out of the program, Kyle Shotwell. I can't remember what's the kid's name. Hank, the wide receiver for the Giants. His name is creeping by me, but the Cal Poly is able to put some guys into the NFL.
Yeah, Division I program. They've had some good teams. They're in the playoffs. Best of luck to Wendell Davis' son and the Mustangs as they open up the postseason. All right, talking Rams. Jared Goff made his debut. Wasn't ugly. Wasn't great, somewhere in the middle, and all that pouring rain we had at the Coliseum. Now the Rams hit the road at New Orleans. They follow that up with a trip to the New England Patriots. It's going to be a tough stretch, Greg. The Saints and Patriots in back-to-back weeks on the road for Jared Goff.
Well, let's just focus on the Saints. The one thing I've always known about the Saints is that they're a tough group of guys. When we played there, it was always hard to get a win in New Orleans. The sound, the Superdome has always been that name for one reason. It's a hell of a place to play. And, hopefully he gets all his faculties together and ready to play because, it's not being in an open-air stadium. He's got a lot of things he's got to focus on. That's just one additional thing he's got to think about.
Drew Brees and the Saints, they can put up a lot of points on offense, which you're going to have the Rams defense rise to the occasion there because – 14 points or 10 points or whatever it works out for the Rams is just not going to be enough on the road at New Orleans.
And I think that's probably Jeff Fisher's biggest thing that he's got to deal with, that this team just does not score points. We talk about, Fisher being in this situation in the past. When he was in Tennessee, they put points up on the board. McNair could air. That's why he was called Air McNair. He could get the ball flying. And they had guys that put points on. Eddie George pounded the ball. So, he's been in this situation of bringing a new guy in. The problem I think that we have to realize is that right now we don't have a balanced offensive attack that's putting points on the board. And until we can get that going, we're putting all the pressure on this defense. And I love this defense. They're a young nucleus of talented guys, and they're going to be with us for probably the next 6 to 7 years as a whole unit. They can stop, teams putting big points on the board, but they can't do it all.
Head coach Jeff Fisher had said that coming out of the Miami game, that was probably the most disappointing loss he's had in his career. Ranks right up there because of the fact that it was Jared Goff's debut. It would have been great to kind of build some confidence, build some momentum for this young quarterback. The way the defense had played for 3.5 quarters, it was unbelievable to see it kind of unravel at the end. Coming off a loss like that, Greg, that could really, take some emotion out of you. How do you kind of regroup, refocus, especially going on the road? Jared Goff's first road game, and you got back-to-back road games.
Sometimes it's actually a nice thing when you do go on the road to kind of get your feet back under you because you don't have a lot of other distractions. You got to remember, these guys have families. They have a lot of things that are circling around them. They got fans. They got requests. They got this. Sometimes when you go on the road, you just go into the hotel, you cut your phone off, and all you have to do is focus on football. And what better place, because I'm going to tell you, the nightmare of going to New Orleans and not being focused, Bourbon Street is called that for a reason. You only go so far back into Bourbon Street. I'm just telling you guys, going to Bourbon Street is not the best thing, and maybe this could be a kind of give them a good curfew and say, look, focus on the game.
Did you play in New Orleans?
Played there too many times. I'll tell you, we played there once a year for my 3 years with the Rams. I think I played there once with the Raiders. There there's a lot. I played the Sugar Bowl there with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and I'm just telling you, it's a lot of distractions in New Orleans.
Were you in bed early every night, room service, watching TV, minding your own business?
No. I will tell you this: the only blessing for me, Pep, is that I don't drink. So the iced teas, the hurricanes, none of that had a meaning for me. But man, I love food, and if you want great food, New Orleans is the place to go.
You can have a food hangover. You could eat too much the night before and be like, "Oh man, I don't feel good."
Man,
right?
The crawfish, the jambalaya. Just everything. The po' boys. I just ate everything.
Oh, yeah.
I love going to New Orleans, and hopefully these players don't love it as much as I did.
All right, so Jared Goff and the Rams in New Orleans, hopefully keeping their heads straight and their eyes focused on the game. Jeff Fisher was quoted as saying that he hopes Jared Goff comes out of his season debut, his NFL career debut, a little disappointed. And not the fact that, he played bad, because he didn't. The fact that the team just lost. He just wants him to be that leader that's, man, he's gonna wear those losses. He's also gonna give credit when the team wins. He just wants him to step up, be that guy, be that leader. So he wanted him to just feel a little bit of, disappointment coming out after his NFL debut and taking a tough loss like that to Miami. For a young quarterback or just a young player in general, can those losses wear on you, Greg?
They will wear on you. I think he's disappointed in the standpoint of, he could, like any player, you think you can always do more. And hopefully Jared has that kind of feeling that he could have done a little bit more, whether it's time management of the ball. One of the things that we have to remember is when our defense is on there, they're being worn down. If you can stay on that field a little longer as an offensive unit, that's called time management, and that's something that Jared's got to be able to do, that offense as a whole has got to be able to do. And a lot of that, unfortunately, you're not going to want to hear it from me, Pep, but it falls in the hands of Todd Gurley. He's got to be able to ground control that ball.
It's funny you say that, because that's another thing that Jeff Fisher had said, that they were trying to make Jared Goff's life easier by getting the running attack going, which I guess it was a mixed bag. Todd Gurley did have some good runs. He scored a touchdown, longest run of the season, 24 yards, 76 yards in the game. But ultimately, if you want Jared Goff to be successful, Greg, you got to run the football, right?
Yeah, you not only got to run the football, but like I told you earlier, you've got to make a play sometimes when nobody's blocking for you. Sometimes 9 men are going to be blocked. Sometimes they're going to be blocked properly. But in the end of the game, when you're trying to control the clock, keep your defense off the field, you got to be able to run the ball. The Rams have got to stress, that's the part that I have so hard a time dealing with, Pep. When you don't hit on a daily basis, you don't really get the contact you need.
All right, the Rams are on the road, New Orleans, then it's on to New England. The Ford Legends Community Show also hitting the road, Greg.
Yeah, we definitely. December 3rd.
Yeah.
We're going to find ourselves over at South Bay Ford over in the city of Hawthorne, 5100 West Rosecrans, city of Hawthorne. We'll be out there from 3 to 4. Mark your calendars for that. Stop on by, say hello to us. Matter of fact, Pep, I think we're going to have a couple autograph items to give away for those people who come out and say hello to us. Probably have some guests as well.
Autographs, great guests, great sports talk. Maybe even people could ask a question. Hey, Greg, what do you think is going to happen with the Rams? What do you think about Jared Goff?
I'll give him an autograph.
The great sports takes are free. So are the autographs, right? How much do you charge?
That day they will be free.
I'm going to go on eBay right now and see how much a Greg Bell autograph is. See how much it's running for right now. We got to thank our fine guests, Pat Carter, Wendell Davis, and, of course, Allen Pinkett, who's been gracious and so good to us all season long talking Notre Dame football. And, of course, our sponsors, Chumash Casino and Resort and Ford.
Of course. And I'm going to get in my hybrid and head home.
Greg, it's been great as always. We'll see you next week from the Ford dealership there in Hawthorne. Please come visit us. We'd love to see you there on the Ford Legends Community Show.
Amazing Black Friday offers are here during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Black Friday bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. Not available on Mustang, Shelby, GT 350, F-150 Raptor, Focus RS, Ford GT. Taking retail delivery from dealer stock by 11/30/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.